sports are a thing like, like so many other things. The books you read, the stories that really engross you, uh, the TV that you watch, or like particular episodes you come back to time and time again. Is that it's like, these are things, these are stories that can inspire you, that can make you really connect with other people. They can give you something to talk about the next day, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, these are only things. These are only experiences that you have. They aren't the sum total of your life, and they can't define who you are as a person. You can take something from them, something that's going to help enrich you and ennoble you as a man, but they are simply what they are, and they pass with time. And you have to understand that, well, they pass. They have taken this thing. It's very nice, but eventually even that will fade. And so the things you got to be spending your time on, you have to understand, are things that are going to be more lasting than that. It's you want to have a couple hours a day if possible to kind of just stop the thinking and unplug your brain for a minute and just enjoy a thing uncritically, not feeling like you have to analyze it or overly commit to it. But you also want to be able to appreciate a thing for what it is while you're viewing it.
Right.
Like, I mean, we've talked plenty about kayaking here. Like, it's nice to get out on the river. It's nice to get out there and enjoy the sun and just not feel like you have a lot of cares other than just paddling your way down. But if you detach too much, well, the whole experience is just going to pass you by.
Bingo. And that's why you got the flask.
Yeah. And oftentimes, God, I know I'm probably going to butcher this quote, but I think there's a quote that goes, life is what happens when you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
If you don't look out the window every now and again, life's just going to pass you by, and you're going to wake up 10 years older than you remember being. You're going to look yourself in the mirror, and you're just going to be like, what did I do?
One of the best pieces of advice that I ever got was from first time that I met one of our mutual friends, Jim Flanders. And I told him that, their show and the message that they were putting out was the thing that made me want to be a dad. And, that I was a new father, and it had a lot to do with them and what they had to say that brought me around to it. And the piece of advice that he gave me was, you're a smart guy, Roscoe. Like, when you're in those moments of, being a dad, being a father, be present. Don't try to overthink things. Don't try to overanalyze things. Just be present. And that's advice that, it's not only helped me, I think, be a better and more engaged dad. It's helped me in a lot of other things in my life, is, that I, in social situations or conversations, that I really, really try to be present, like engaging in the conversation and, giving back and showing that I am here, that I am really honestly taking in part in, this moment, not thinking too hard, I'm just taking it in and trying to make sure that I appreciate things. It's one of the things, man, you get used to turning off that over analytical brain, and it really helps, not worry about stuff like being awkward or saying the right things in social situations, getting past our little hang-ups that I think all of us, we talked about, picked up during the lockdown, or, some specific traumas we may or may not have gone through.
And I'm trying to not just repeat what I've already said here, but reality is what happens, or reality is the thing that is real, whether you believe in it or not. And life is the thing that happens while you're there, while you're experiencing. And it can be very easy to just feel like all you're trying to do is kill time or buy time for something interesting to happen. But at the end of the day, you got to recognize, well, when I lay my head down into my bed, I got to think. In those moments, I have to think, of positive thinking, not staring up the ceiling wondering what I'm doing with myself. You got to think about what you actually did that day. Did you accomplish anything? Did you put yourself on the road to accomplish anything important? Because if you did, then it's going to be a lot easier to sleep soundly. And if you didn't, well, you're going to be sitting there wondering about all the things you could have been doing while you were sitting there going, yeah, but then I'd have to get up. I'd have to get out of my pajamas. I'd have to go do X, Y, Z, etc.
It kind of gets me thinking of conversation that I was having with my old man about fatherhood. And he said that he always told, people that came to him for advice on stuff was that it's not about quality time, it's about quantity time. That you have to get in as much time as possible so you have the opportunities for the quality, the real banger memories, as it were, to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's true, like for all of our relationships, like, not just being a parent and putting in time with your kids, but putting in time with your friends, with your loved ones, or whatever. Like
Yeah.
maybe, it's something you and I have done before. We don't necessarily have specific plans, but we still hang out, maybe watch Excalibur and grill out some steaks.
Yeah. You don't have to be, every moment doesn't have to be some fantastic, wonderful moment that redefines your friendship and makes you find deeper meaning in the people you hang out with. Like sometimes you find that by the simple fact that you are there and you're just kind of ready for whatever happens. Like
Ab.
one of my favorite things when I graduated college, one of my favorite things to do was simply get out of the house that I was renting with like 4 other people, go over to my friend's apartment, and he was renting too, and we didn't have to talk a whole bunch. Like we might throw something on the TV if we felt like there was something we both wanted to watch, and he might sit there with his laptop, and I might just sit there with my phone or my laptop or whatever. But every couple of minutes, I'd find myself looking up from whatever I was doing and look over, and my buddy was still there, and he was doing his thing. And I might ask him what he was up to. We might talk about it a little bit. But there wasn't like this pressure to always be doing something. We were both just kind of there. We were both existing, and we both were glad to have someone else there existing with us.
Dude,
You have times when you're on, you have times when you're off. Sometimes you're just like, okay, let's go, let's get up and go, let's go do something awesome. Other times you're just kind of like, kind of beat from this week, man. I just really want to sit on the couch and veg out for a bit. And sometimes vegging out on the couch is the right thing to do, and other times you're just kind of like, yeah, I want to do that. I just want to do that. And then your friend's got to look at you and be like, nah, bro, we got shit we got to do. We got fun we got to be having. Let's go out and get it. You got to have someone push you out the door into the real world. Be like, we are going out and participate in the world. We're gonna do something fun, and here's what we're gonna do. Let's go do it.